Let's begin with a prayer. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of all our hearts be acceptable in your sight. For you, O Lord, are our rock and our Redeemer. Amen. Have you ever lived through a tornado? When I was 10 years old, a tornado went through our neighborhood in Roseville. The sirens had started blaring, and we had hurried down to our basement. With imaginations shaped by the Wizard of Oz, from down in the basement, we could hear that this was no story. We could hear the sirens screaming, and then the winds came like a freight train, and then we could hear sounds of damage happening above us. And then, after a while, the silence. We paused at the door to the basement, wondering what we would see when we went up the stairs. We were among the lucky ones. The house avoided serious damage. We were all okay, although a roof truss from more than a block away had flown through the sky and landed around a tree in our front yard. Ring around the rosy. Ashes, ashes. It is still so vivid, that memory of the aftermath of the storm. Huddled below decks, wondering what the world will look like, wondering how much will have changed and what will remain the same. Noah and his family and all those many animals are in a different kind of storm. Unrelenting rain. Last week, Hurricane Sally dumped as much as 18 inches of rain in one spot in a 24-hour period. 18 inches of rain. Noah and his family faced that day after day. Noah and the rest of the inhabitants of the ark, huddled in the lower decks, trying to stay dry, worried. Lightning booming all around. Can you imagine what they are feeling? Day after day after day of rain, gloomy afternoons that give way to dark nights, and more rain. God had warned Noah that the world was going to be destroyed to enable a new beginning. To Noah, it must have felt like it would never end. Somehow, they kept going. There must have been days when the animals were making awful noises and it was raining too hard to go out onto the upper deck. Days after days of being stuck below board with the smells of all those animals. Finally, the rain stopped. But even then, the floodwaters still raged. I wonder if Noah ever cried out, "Oh Lord, the sea is so great, and my boat is so small." The rain has stopped, but there's no end in sight, no land to be seen anywhere, no safe harbors from the storm. There was danger all around, and also boredom. Like being stuck in a house full of kids who are not able to go anywhere during the COVID quarantine, except longer, and your kids don't smell as bad as the elephants did on the ark. The rain must have stopped for Noah, but with no land in sight, they must still have been asking that question, will it ever end? Last week I told a backpacking story when it rained and rained and rained. We were huddled under a tarp waiting and wondering if it would ever end. And every once in a while, one of us would peek out from under the tarp or stick our hand way out to see if it was still really raining. Maybe our minds were playing tricks on us. Maybe what we were hearing was just wind blowing through the leaves and dripping water, and it wasn't still raining. So we'd stick our hand out or go for a short walk only to come back quickly. Still raining. Days and days on that ark when it was raining. After 40 days without rain, after the rains had stopped but the floodwaters were still high, Noah was getting antsy, needing a sign of hope, needing something that would help him keep on keeping on. So he released a bird. Fly away, little bird, and find us some land. Fly away, little bird, and don't forget us. Fly away, little bird, and be a good scout for us. Find us some land. The bird would fly around for hours. I wonder if it felt as hopeless to the bird as it must have to Noah. The story of Genesis is intended to help us imagine our place in the ark, to exercise our faithful imaginations in ways that provide wisdom and courage. Some of us may feel like we've been living in an ark with this pandemic, with daily life reduced to our own little safety pods, everyone kind of having to decide for themselves what is safe and what is unacceptably risky. Some days it feels like we are all in the same boat together, in a good way, and other days it feels like we just need some space. We wish there was a private room for us in this ark, away from all these other animals. The story from Genesis has some specificity in it. There are references to 40 days, and that they're probably intended to indicate it was a long, long time. But there are other references to specific moments within that long stretch of time. On the 27th day of the month, for example. And maybe that triggers a bell for you about life during a pandemic. On the 14th day, we decided that we had to do a grocery run. Instead of going to multiple stores looking for exactly the right items, we had made a careful list of all the things we would need for the next 2 weeks. And then I raced through that store as fast as I could, filled 2 grocery carts full of food, and we ate everything. Well, except still sitting on those pantry shelves are the Thai lime and chili cashews, too spicy even for me, and those 4 cans of potato soup. Too bland, but we'll use them if we ever need them. Years from now, someone hearing the story might say, why does it matter that it was on the 14th day you did that? But the detail mattered at the time. It helped to mark the days, to remember what we had experienced. If we compare ourselves to Noah and the ark, what stage are we in right now? Your answer might vary from moment to moment, from day to day. Sometimes it seems like it's still getting worse. The rain is still falling and we've got a long ways to go. At other times it feels like the rain stopped, but we're still in the ark. And at still other points we can almost see the land. And the dove has returned with some sort of olive branch that offers a sign of hope. And then it's like being in the basement when a tornado has come through, wondering what will we find when this long, strange pandemic comes to an end? Will we return to normal, or will the world have been permanently changed for us? In the midst of new dimensions, in the face of changing ways. These are the opening words of our hymn this morning. Through this flood on which we are sailing, who will lift olive branches? Who will light flames of care? The song asks, and gives us these images and signs of hope, that God, who has been known as a fiery pillar, will lead us in our wandering, that God has appeared to Noah and offered rainbows of hope. I think this hymn, in the midst of new dimensions, is so helpful for us today. And that last verse lingers, at least for me. Should the threats of dire predictions cause us to withdraw in pain, may your blazing phoenix resurrect the church again. During this long, strange trip we're on, May we keep finding signs of hope and the strength needed for the journey. May it be so. Amen.